You are now tuned in to Hits 92.3, where we take great pride in personal expression of one's feelings, thoughts, or ideals. What you're getting ready to hear on this show are the opinions of the hosts and their guests, and they do not reflect the opinions of Hits 92.3 radio station, the brand, management, staff, their respective advertisers, parent companies, or affiliates. Now, stay tuned as this show begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Legacy Crypto Builders. I'm your host, Diana Townsend, right here on Hits Radio 92.3. I'm here each and every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to dive into the transformative world of blockchains with a purpose. Join us as we explore how today's tech pioneers are building the legacy of tomorrow, one block at a time. Stay tuned. The future of blockchain starts now. Good morning, Hits 92.3 family. My name is Diana Townsend, and I am the Chief Visionary Officer here at the Legacy Crypto Builders. We're here each and every Wednesday from 12 to 1, talking all things blockchain, crypto, AI. And I absolutely love my guest today. He's a gentleman out of the DMV area. He's a person that I actually admire so much in this industry, and I've watched him over the years. So to be able to build that relationship and be able to talk to him, this is actually one of my favorite weeks. Mr. Ricardo Hamilton, are you there? Can you hear me okay?
I'm here, Diana, fired up and excited as always to be a part of the show and, talk to the community about what's going on. It's a lot going on.
All right. If you could just take out a couple seconds just to tell them a little bit about yourself before we jump right into it.
Yeah, so Ricardo Hamilton, Crypto Rick Mims, short for Make It Make Sense, specializing in helping people understand the value of precious metals, cryptocurrency, the financial system. We're doing that for over a decade now, but in the last 5 years, really been helping people accumulate physical silver and gold and understand blockchain and crypto technology and leveraging systems that allow them to create some cash flow and passive and residual income in the process. So we're just having a lot of fun, exciting times that we're in right now, documenting the collapse and the wealth transfer that's taking place and helping people get in position. So this is the time.
All right, Ricardo, I'm already disappointed. I was so looking forward to hearing that your bricks. Come on, you dropping the ball. What's going on with our bricks with the silver over there?
Yeah. So we're going to start the show off right.
That's the shot.
With the sound money clap. Good morning.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about it. Ricardo, I read something the other day. Let's talk about inflation a little bit. And I read something. It said the new bankruptcy filings have hit an all-time high since 2017. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Anybody who's been paying attention to what's been going on in the economy, especially after COVID, when they just shut down the whole global economy and they print trillions of dollars, they've created, this bubble, they've created this crisis. And it's something that has been going on for a very long time, even before COVID, since 2008. The monetary system is broken. This is a debt-based monetary system. And it's inherent that we have, all these crises and market crashes. And so that's why I get excited, because we're entering a new era where we're returning to a resource-based, money-backed global financial system. But yeah, bankruptcies are going to be up, more unemployment. Okay, people are going to be losing their jobs. The value of the dollar is going to continue to decline. Even gold here at an all-time high. And, that's why we've been telling people that you have to hedge. You have to diversify. You can't do the same thing that you've been doing. If you're relying on one stream of income, you're a disaster waiting to happen. And so you're going to see, a shift in the whole way that the economy is done like never before. And I think a lot of people aren't ready for it. They have a normalcy bias, sort of a complacency bias. Even now, if they hear this information, some people, it's cognitive dissonance. They just can't get outside of, how they know the world to operate and how things exist. But change is coming, and you have to adapt with that change or you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, it's crazy because I said that to somebody. I said, there are people who are still in the same place today that they were last year. They're not open to evolve. They're not open to hear. Like, we're here every Wednesday, just sharing free information about blockchain, cryptocurrency, AI. They're hearing it on CNBC. It's all over. You can't avoid it. And I don't understand how you just have not made a decision to do something. You have to come up with a plan B. Like, the economy is in the worst situation that it's ever been, and people are still not understanding that they're going to have to diversify that income. They're going to have to figure this out, because it's like, to me, they're slowly but surely drowning. So I 100% agree with that. One of the things that also is, you know, with the bricks, with that silver, I read something that says silver is so undervalued. And to me, you're like the silver and gold king. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So silver is real money, folks. You know, silver is God's money. Silver is constitutional money here in the United States. Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution. Silver is money all over the world: Africa, Asia, Europe, the Americas. You know, the dollar used to be backed by gold and silver. That's what gave the dollar value. No longer is a dollar backed by gold and silver, and that's why we're seeing the inflation and massive loss in purchasing power of the dollar. But silver is not just, you know, a pretty rock or a metal. It's actually an industrial metal. You know, it's actually used in satellites. It's used in solar panels and in healthcare, and clothing. I mean, there are thousands of applications for physical silver in an industrial demand. Physical silver is antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. So we're going into a technological revolution here, and silver's demand is exploding. Okay, in solar panels, even I just put an article up earlier on my Facebook that talked about silver in Samsung's new solid state batteries, and the demand for silver now because of that. And obviously, India and China are accumulating massive amounts of silver for solar panels. They're going into solar big, and the problem is that there's not that much silver to go around. There is a greater demand, especially as we close out 2024 and going into 2025. There's a greater demand than there is supply. So we're going to see a supply shock in silver, and silver is going to skyrocket because for the last few decades or so, the banks have been manipulating and rigging the paper price, the spot price market of physical silver that we see. And they've been rigging that because it's a derivatives market. It's not the actual physical metal. The actual physical metal silver is worth way more than what we're buying it for right now. But because the system has been rigged and manipulated, we're able to get it at a cheaper price, which is great for us. And there will be a moment where we find and have real price discovery for that asset and for these assets. And that's why we tell people to accumulate them now, because they're that, you know, that valuable. You know, like I said earlier, gold hit an all-time high, and this year gold is up 22%. So I get excited about information like that because we've been telling people the whole time, you don't save dollars because dollars don't save value. It's not a savings instrument. The dollar's for spending, right? So you save your money in physical silver and gold. And if you've been saving in gold this year, and you know, before, gold is up 22%, and that's a tier 1 asset. And so what that means is that there is zero risk associated to it. So gold will never go to zero, but everything else is speculative. Dollar-denominated financial instruments, investments, you can lose your money during times of war, financial crisis, global uncertainty. Those things that you consider assets, those paper stocks and things of that nature, they can lose value. But gold and silver will always have its value, always be money. And that's how you save your money. You save your money in physical silver and gold, and physical silver being the most undervalued physical asset on the planet.
Yeah, to me, I just feel like we have to get to a place where we need to do something, because I was looking at something this morning, and it said that eggs are up 41%, bread is up 57%, and milk is up 73%. Like, it's crazy out here because the dollar isn't worth anything anymore. Everything is going up except for people's paychecks.
Yep.
And to me, I just feel like I'm confused sometimes when people don't see the value of entrepreneurship. People don't understand why you should be wanting to be your own boss in these days. And I've learned so much over the weekend. I went to a seminar that I feel like completely made me look at life different. And it made me realize that I feel like I'm in this season where wealth is approaching. That's a good way to say it. And now you have to learn how to diversify that income. And I felt like I learned so much as far as what we needed to do with the money, and not just to get it, but to protect it, because we're headed in a season, like I said, where things are continuously going up. I seen something also that said 10 million people in June did not pay their mortgage. They weren't able to pay their mortgage. And in July, I think it was 12.2 million people. And I had posted that to my team. And I was like, God, that I wasn't in that bracket. But I heard somebody say people are living in a net 24. They barely have enough money for on a day-to-day basis to cover their income. And people still are not open. You're constantly giving free value, free game on your page. You're constantly pouring into us. And a lot of times people, they just don't see it. So all I try to do is same as you, just we can't force people to do things. All we can do is keep sharing. I always say you share because you care, keep giving the information, and pray that, like the pastor says, if just one person if just one person gets it, then maybe it'll make a difference, because that one person could affect the whole generation of their families. So I'll say thank you to you, because that's actually how I know you, from just following you on social media. I remember how hard you used to go in another platform, and I was like, I don't care what it is. You always pour into people. And just from working with you, I know how much you've poured into me on days that, I hadn't really seen what was happening and might not have seen the value of that platform. You just constantly, constantly, constantly pour value. So before we switch channels, Ricardo, tell them how they can follow you and where they can start being able to get some of your content from.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in the process of making some major upgrades now on my website and everything else. But right now, you can follow me on Facebook, Ricardo Hamilton on Facebook, Ricardo Hamilton on YouTube, also on Instagram and TikTok, Wealth and Assets on Instagram. Or you can send me an email, rhamilton19@gmail.com, and I'll make sure I plug you into all the updated sites and sources where you can find me.
All right. We got about 2 minutes. I really didn't want to get too much into it before we go to commercial break, but I can't help it. I just want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear what you got to say about XRP and Wells Fargo. Let's start that conversation off. Ricardo, what's your take on Ripple with the banking institutions and what they're over there doing and where XRP is headed at?
Yeah, I mean, so some people get distracted by price and not understanding value. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make, and why a lot of people miss opportunities is because they look at the price of something and they equate that to the value, but not understanding that underneath the surface and things have been going on and taking place. And then by the time you realize what it is, for a lot of people, it might be too late. But Ripple has had to sign over 1,700 NDAs with the major banks and institutions. So there's a lot of things and partnerships and developments and activity that's taking place with Ripple and XRP and their stablecoin that people don't even know about yet because of the NDAs that had to be signed. But more information is coming out. And so we're not surprised to see that they're partnered with Wells Fargo, that American Express has partnered with them as well, that Bank of America and other institutions, that Japan is going to be, all their banks are going to be using XRP. It's the liquidity token for the economy, for the global economy, the liquidity ecosystem. It's where everything is going to be ran. So yeah, it's good news for those who are for those who believe and hold on to XRP as one of the assets in their digital portfolio.
Do you believe that you personally, I know we're not financial advisors, but I'm definitely an XRP fan. Do you believe that XRP is going to be one of the most valuable tokens out there?
Yeah, I look at XRP like physical silver. It's an asset that's been suppressed. that has massive utility, that has massive value. And as the market, as we shift, into this new economy, that's where we're going to see real price discovery for undervalued assets. And I think that XRP is going to be one of those assets that just, literally create, tens of thousands, whoever amount of millionaires. Same thing with silver. It's, I talked about it before. When you put these assets, these technologies, because that's what you're investing in when you're into crypto, you're investing in technology. These are technology companies. And as the dollar continues to lose value, assets are going to continue to rise. And that's the main thing. That's the key. So digital assets are going to continue to rise in value. Physical assets are going to continue to rise in value because the dollar is going to continue to lose value. And that's why the wealthy continue to get wealthy, because they understand that. In the poor and the middle class, they poor because they continue to hold on to dollars and saving in dollars.
Okay, and just so that our listeners understand, because this is an educational channel, when Ricardo says NDA, that's just a non-disclosure, application. They're not able to share that information yet. They do not want it to be public knowledge. So what did you say? 1,700
Yeah.
NDAs were signed.
Yeah.
That's like 1,700 plus ideas coming into that banking industry. So that's huge. That is huge. So when I seen that, I wrote that down. I said, we got to talk about that, because a lot of times people don't understand. And I didn't look. I meant to look. Do you happen to know how much XRP is today, Ricardo?
Probably like still 59 cents.
59 cents. Okay, so we're not financial advisors, and we have no idea where it's headed. But at one point, I remember listening to somebody that I plug into on a regular basis, and he says he sees XRP maybe one day all the way up to $250 plus dollars. You agree with that?
Yeah, easy. When you have to understand that they've printed trillions upon trillions of dollars. The Forex market that moves $7 trillion a day. The derivatives market is in the quadrillions of dollars. So as all this debt-based fiat money system in dollars collapses, and you see the collapse in these markets, the dollar, the money doesn't disappear when there's a market crash. It changes hands. It moves to a different person or a different asset. Usually during crashes, that's why gold and silver do well, because they're hedges against that. So you're going to see money move from these risk on investments to risk off, but you're going to see that value, all of that money move into XRP or in the blockchain, because that's the new way that trade and commerce and business is done. So that value has to move on to that chain.
Listen, one of my business partners, Mr. Aaron Webb, just dropped a little gem for me. He said Japan is completely banking with XRP starting 2025. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Yeah. I mentioned it earlier. I talked a little fast, but yeah, Japan, all their banks are integrating with XRP. Yeah, Palau is central bank is going to be using XRP. It's XRP that the central banks around the world are going to be used to conduct global trade and transactions. Through the XRPL for oil and everything else. That's where we're going.
Gotcha. So if you guys have questions for Ricardo or something that you'd like us to discuss, make sure you put it in the chat. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Does your child have main character energy? Elevate their birthday bash with the Hits 92.3 Media Birthday Party. We'll help your star shine with a radio show for them and 10 guests, complete with live streaming, paparazzi glitz, red carpet flair, and more. Don't miss out. Book now at allhustlenofear.com.
All righty, Ricardo, we're back here on Hits 92.3 each and every Wednesday, sharing education, information, inspiration about the blockchain, cryptocurrency, and AI space. And I have a special guest, Mr. Ricardo, Make It Make Sense Hamilton, here with me today, just sharing some gems. So we're going to jump right back into it, Ricardo. Let's talk about, I'm sure we're going to ruffle some feathers. They're going to be sending me some text messages. But I would love to hear your personal opinion I read something that says President-elect President Kamala Harris is considering Gary Gensler as the Treasury Secretary if she's elected president, versus Trump is considering, and he says that I read something that he will immediately fire Gary Gensler. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, obviously Gary Gensler is like public enemy number one to crypto.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is like her saying, I don't care about the crypto vote, you know. And
Far, Ricardo, I won't say that far. I was confused about that, honestly, because she is my president-elect. But okay, so I'm gonna let you finish. But go ahead. I can't go that far though without saying, ugh. Go ahead. I'll be quiet.
nah, you're good. It's just I don't know, you know, what she would expect, because the average person doesn't know about Gary Gensler. They don't keep up with the SEC and what's going on in that space. The reason Gary Gensler is popular is because of you know, how they've been persecuting you know, crypto companies and negatively affecting this industry and market and our assets. You know, and then Trump saying that he's going to fire Gary Gensler on day one. That's a very good thing. You know, especially for people in the crypto space. Gary Gensler has not done a good job. The SEC has not done a good job. You know, even with other crypto companies, they've had to fire lawyers because they've lied to the courts about what other crypto companies were doing. They, you know, their whole offices were shut down. So the SEC does not have a good track record, and Gary Gensler is the head. But you know, I really just think it's coming down to divide and conquer. I think they want to create an event where people who are conscious and awake to really what's going on and their positions and how horrible it is, so they can paint out a picture that these people are MAGA, and you just put everybody under the umbrella, and then you know, they create this divide and conquer campaign. That's what it seems like, because none of what they're doing or saying actually makes sense at all, besides creating and fermenting you know, more hate and more division, because I don't see any benefit of why she would want to put Gary Gensler as a Treasury Secretary. You know, what is the ideology, or what is the you know, the mechanism? Why is it that you think he's the best person for that position when he has such a horrible track record with the SEC right now, especially in regards to crypto?
You know, this is hard for me to say, but I was confused when I read that, because I personally don't care for him. And I was like, all we can do is say prayer changes things, and prayerfully there will be another person, if elected, that she would consider, because I just feel like he's not in our corner. He's not in our favor. He is not somebody who, you know, is like you said, like I don't understand that. So before they start throwing stuff on me, texting me and inboxing me,
yeah, we just got to
I
make
had to
sure.
say it though, because I'm like, we got to talk about it. It's what's happening in the news,
Yeah,
and
we
I
just have to make sure she doesn't get.
about that.
Yeah, we just have to make sure she doesn't get elected, because there's nothing good that's coming out of her mouth in regards to policy or anything. Nothing concrete, nothing constructive, nothing, you know, articulatable. Like none of it really makes sense. I don't know what they're doing. That, you know, that ticket would be the end of, you know, this country. It would. I'm just, you know, at this rate.
I don't know if it'll be that far, Ricardo. I don't know about. I don't know if it'll be the end of the country. Even my engineer was like, "Golly, not the end of the country."
All right, so let me say that I would just.
Now you are hard president-elect.
Okay, all right. Let's say, like, it's just that we have a constitutional republic, and then we have a democracy, and it's just coming down to our liberties, our freedoms, our rights, you know, and things of that nature. And you just have a system where people are trying to control you. You know, they're already going to implement a UBI, you know, universal basic income. They have things in place that will literally return us to like a communist, you know, slavery 2.0 type of system. But they have to create the environment for us to accept it. They're going to create a condition here where you're going to have no choice but to go to the government And that's what they want. They want you to not be independent. They don't want you to know how to grow your own food. They don't want you to, they let Monsanto take access to the seeds. You know, they don't want you drinking clean water. They poison the water. They don't want, you know, they're not providing you the information and the resources to be self-sufficient, to be independent. They're creating an economy where you're dependent upon the government. And that's not what you want. And we've seen this before throughout history. When you study history, you hear what they're saying about guns and our Second Amendment. And then you understand throughout history, anytime a government or a president, they take away your ability to protect yourself, you know, and your family against tyranny, you know, that's when, you know, your days are numbered. And, you know, so people just have to study history and really see what they're saying. And really what we're going down is, you know, Marxism, communist type of scenario. And, you know, that's why I say, you know, it comes down to your rights and your liberties, you know, your sovereignty as an individual to choose. And the economy that they're creating is going to eliminate that and put you onto a system that, you know, that's not going to be good for you and your family.
So Ricardo, I'm so glad you're in the DMV and not here in Georgia with me. You have to call security. It's 50-50 though. It's 50-50 in the comments. Some of them like, stab Ricardo.
Yeah, I know. No, yeah. You said we was going to hurt some feelings,
no,
but you know,
gotta talk about it, and we gotta be fair.
People need to listen to Dr. Umar more. You listen to, you know, some Claude Anderson, or listen to, you know, some of our Black scholars who are really, you know, I mean, even Judge Joe Brown to break it down. Like, you know, I mean, they got to step outside of, you know, in my opinion, a lot of our people suffer from post-traumatic slave disorder. Like the Democrats have figured out how to push your buttons and manipulate you. And all they got to do is say that somebody's a racist, and it shuts down your critical analytical thinking skills. And you just go along with whatever they say because we want free stuff. So the Democrats promise you all this free stuff. They say, we're going to give you this for housing and we're going to give you all that. But don't understand the monetary system. They don't understand the components of how that's possible. You know, how that works. Where does that money come from? Do you pay for that later? You know, they just tell you things, but people don't understand how things work. So they give with one hand and they take with the other. And so that's why we've been losing this whole time. You know, people are talking about, we've been voting Democrat for how long? And what have we gotten? You know, people have to really look at, you know, where we are now. You know, I think it was Claude Anderson said, you know, coming out of slavery, we owned 1/2 of 1% of this nation's wealth. And today we still only own 1/2 of 1% of this nation's wealth. We have not moved the wealth needle at all. You know, we're going backwards. But yet the same party that the Democrats and all these people are voting for, they're letting in illegals and they're paying them thousands of dollars for housing. You see what's going on in Chicago? People are waking up. They're like, nah, this ain't right. They're paying them thousands of dollars for housing. They're giving them clothes. They're giving them food. Even here where I live, I'm seeing it. I got people from Afghanistan and all over the place here. And the whole community tower where it was mostly Black and brown, I'm seeing none but Arabs. And I'm like, where are all the people that was living there? And you know, and then they're on the corner, you know, begging while they're also getting government assistance. But the problem is, you know, where's that money for the veterans? You know, where's that money for you know, the Democrats have created all these bills for Asians, Asian hate bills. And, you know, they're giving all these monies to you know, they're giving billions of dollars to Israel. And we got all this money for war and everything else. But the veterans don't get none. The poor aren't getting none. Our people aren't getting our just due. Where's our reparations? That should be the main ticket. I don't understand how we're excited about a Black President Obama. We're excited about a Black President Kamala Harris, but nobody's marching the streets saying, well, you better give us reparations. You gave everybody else reparations. The Asians, the Chinese, the Irish, everybody get reparations except us. Where's our package? But Obama and Kamala say, well, we're not going to do anything specifically for Black folks. We're going to do something for everybody because that's going to help everybody. But they do specific things for specific communities, but they just ignore us. So, you know, our people are waking up to this, you know, and I think that's why I say I think that they're not, you know, even Trump, you know, with Ice Cube, he was willing to meet with him. You know, Trump had the platinum plan. You know, Trump is willing to meet, you know, Trump was actually recognized in the Black community and loved, you know, and liked in the Democratic community and the Republican community.
Loved Ricardo.
At one time, Trump was not hated and vilified like he is now. He's only they've targeted him with the media in the propaganda on Russia collusion and all this other stuff, all this other nonsense, right? And they didn't do this before. It wasn't this. So what's the difference? Because he's running for president. So now you see there's an agenda. Well, what is he trying to stop? That's what it's coming down to. And then of course, so we blow up everything that Trump does, but we don't talk about the Bush crime family, how we went into Iraq, and weapons of mass destruction killed millions of people. Oh, that's fine. We don't talk about, what Obama did in Africa and Libya and got rid of Gaddafi and how that created slavery in Africa again and all that. We don't talk about the Biden crime family and how it just came out that Biden's been receiving millions of dollars from foreign nationals and foreign countries. We don't talk about Hunter, his son and his laptop and, all that corruption. We don't talk about Hillary Clinton and like he talks about the acid washing of the emails, lying before Congress. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that they did in Haiti with the Clinton Foundation. We don't talk about any of that stuff. Epstein, we don't talk about none of that stuff. That's not a big problem. But Trump, let Trump do, whatever it is, it's the worst thing ever. It's the end of democracy. He's racist. And people don't see that, it's the media. They control the media. A certain group of people control the media. And, I'm not even I'm going to digress because I'm really going to start to, peel back the layers here, and they really might come get me here up in the DMV, even though you're in Atlanta right now. So I'm gonna slow down real quick.
Listen, I was gonna say they was on their way to the DMV once they found
on their way,
right? And now they're like, well, wait a minute, and then the rest of them saying, "Preach, speak, tell the truth," and I'm like, oh Lord. But this is what y'all have to understand. This is our personal views, and I can't say, Ricardo, you are so wrong. Me and Ricardo, we always, there's topics that we always agree to disagree, but you have to allow people that freedom to speak. Right. I love him. So it doesn't matter whether we agree or we disagree. It is a conversation. And one thing you have got to give credit to, there are a lot of true things that Ricardo says. Now, am I in agreement with everything? No. But when there's some truth about it, sometimes you just have to be open. So all the people, stop texting me. Stop texting me. Stop inboxing me. And you got to understand that this is an educational channel. We want people to pay attention. If it's something that I say that piques your interest, if it's something that he says, go look into it, go do your due diligence and do your research so that you can make an educated decision. That's all we're here today. So stop texting me and blowing my phone up. So Ricardo, let's talk about AI. I wrote down that I wanted to talk to us about 100 million jobs could potentially be lost to AI by 2027. That's like 2.5 years away. Like, people don't understand how huge AI is, how it's coming. So wait a minute. It says AI is expected to replace 100 million jobs by 2027. And Walmart is saying that 65% of their stores will be managed and handled by automation. Mm-hmm. Like, that is huge. What's your take on that?
Yeah, once again, people just have to understand how the economy works. We're moving into a technological revolution here in the fourth industrial revolution in this economy where, we're coming out of the industrial era. They needed human labor. They needed you to work the jobs and the factories and everything else. Like, humans needed to actually do work during the industrial era. But now they no longer need human labor. They no longer need you. They have robotics. They have AI, machine learning, automation. And so the economy is changing. And that's a major problem that they have, because now they're saying, well, what are we going to do with all these people? Because we no longer need them. And we have the robots, we have the technology to be able to produce what we need to have done. They look at you like an expense. You're expendable, on their books. And if they can get rid of you and having to provide for your health care and having to, all of that, and just replace you with robots, that's what they want to do. But they have another dilemma, because now what are we going to do with the people? And so this is what, when they meet in their economic forum groups and their Bilderberg groups, and they're plotting out 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years on how the economy is going to run, how they want humanity to look, how they want to shape societies. These are things that they're talking about and that they're implementing. And so how they work is problem, reaction, solution. They create a problem, they wait for your reaction, and they already have a solution routed for you. And that's why it's important that people really just stop and think and see what's going on, see who's behind the curtain actually manipulating and moving these things into position like this, and where are they going. You have to apply a little bit of vision and foresight yourself to where this is going, so you can protect yourself and your family, or you're going to find out, that you're in a whole nother, slavery 2.0 system. But they no longer need human labor. AI and robotics is going to be taking over for everything. Drivers, every industry, doesn't matter what you're doing, even doctors. They have the robots now that, are doing surgeries, at more precision than an actual doctor can do. You can name it. AI and robotics can essentially replace the human being for it. The only human they'll need is maybe to do some coding or programming, but they're going to have it to where AI can do that itself. It can recode and fix its own problems. That's where we're moving towards. So that's why it's so important that you get educated, diversify, and invest in the things that are going to make that new economy run, because that's where the wealth is going to be.
Yeah, people don't understand. Let's talk about crypto for a second. Like for me, I so thank God. Maybe the last couple nights I've been meeting with the leaders on my team, and we've been strategizing. We've been talking about being the matriarchs, and the patriarchs are our family, because, we discussed this before too. Sometimes our family don't always see the value of crypto. People don't understand it. So when, we say confused people don't make decisions because they don't take the time out, people will go to work. Right now you're not in that position because, especially with AI coming, people have been on their jobs for years, but people go to work for 40 years and they'll work 40 hours to receive 40% of their salary, but they won't work 40 hours in a month on their business. They won't take the time to educate themselves to really understand what's happening. But me and you both have been recipients of that blessing that crypto will do for your life. Like, it completely changed the way that I think. And that was because it was the power of a decision. I was tired. I was working 2 jobs and I'll say because I had to. Like, I'll say one paid my bills, but the other was pleasure. I loved, flying all over the world. I was not giving that up, but I needed the other job to pay the bills. But people don't understand crypto. Let's talk a little bit about what crypto has done for you, Ricardo.
Yeah. So, however you get into the blockchain and crypto space, and you might get in and lose money. You might get in with an opportunity that is no longer around. But I'm gonna tell you this: it's important that you just get into this space. I don't care how you get in, but you have to get into this space. Even I've gotten, and I tell people all the time, you're not in cryptocurrency if you haven't lost money. You probably will lose money, right? But it's part of that learning curve. And the thing is that everything is going to be on a blockchain. Everything is going to be tokenized. Okay. You don't have a choice. It's almost like today you saying, I don't want to use plastic. I don't want to use Visa or MasterCard. I don't believe in that stuff. I don't want to use that stuff. I don't want to learn how to use it. But you see today, everybody uses it. You have to use it essentially. But there was a time where people only used cash and checks. They were balancing their checkbook. You remember your parents or whatever, grandparents, whatever have you. They were balancing their checkbook. There was only cash. There was no Visa or MasterCard. There was no plastic. And then, of course, the people at that time, they didn't like plastic. They didn't like the digital money. They didn't want the Visa or MasterCard. But now you see everybody has it. Well, it's the same thing with blockchain and cryptocurrency, right? You've seen that technological innovation into the marketplace, and those who invested in, Visa, MasterCard at that time probably doing very well right now. Well, what you're getting into is technology. This is how you get into these technology companies. You have to invest in the technology. You have to invest in the infrastructure of the future, because that's where money is moving. That's where value is going to move. And, usually our people are the last to get into something, and this is our opportunity to be first, part of the first, part of early, because you're still early. Blockchain and a lot of these app projects, are still massively undervalued when you really start to realize just how much trillions of dollars out there, quadrillions of dollars out there, and that the whole the whole system is going to collapse on itself and transfer into digital and physical assets. And that is going to be the new way that trade, commerce, and international business is done.
To me, I just feel like you said, this is still the beginning. I've been in this space since 2018, and I didn't know anything. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anything. It was just the power of a decision. I wanted more for my family. I heard them say, like, just think about where we come from. And that's the part. Over this weekend, I heard this a gentleman, he talked about evolution. And he gave these scenarios and he reminded it, because sometimes you forget where we come from, right? And he said, remember when we used to have the credit card and you go in the store and they put it on this machine and you swipe it so that it would be embossed on the paper, and then they had to sign it. And when he said that, it triggered me like, oh yeah, I forgot about that thing, because we have evolved to credit cards. And then we've evolved even more with the credit cards because we went to the chip. Now we just tapping. You don't even have to credit card in there. It's just like you tap it now. So that's the next evolution of the credit card. And then he reminded us of the story of Netflix and Blockbuster. And I remember I used to be living in Delaware, and there was this Blockbuster in Newcastle, Delaware. And you could tell ahead of time. It's just like the movies. The preview come out, the movie coming out on this day. You was at Blockbuster that day, so you could get that particular movie. And he was like, there's probably only like 12 copies, so you had to get there. You was waiting for him to hit it in the Dropbox. So I was laughing because I remembered that. And he started saying how when Netflix went to Blockbuster and said, hey, you are like the king of movies. Like, you got this thing on lock. And we just want to partner. We want to see if you're open to this relationship. And Blockbuster thought it was a joke. Blockbuster underestimated the power of streaming and what Netflix was going to do. But they went to them. And that's how we be in the crypto space when we go to our family and our friends. Some people see it, some people don't. And Netflix offered them the opportunity, and Blockbuster didn't see it, because I was like, yeah. And then he talked about the same thing with the Red Box. Where's the Red Box at? There is no Blockbuster. There is no Red Box now. And look at how big Netflix has become. And now we're moving into streaming. So it's like people don't understand why you have to get that mindset of, I got to evolve. Like, it don't even matter whether I wanted to learn about the blockchain or cryptocurrency. You need to, and you really have to, in order to put yourself in position to be in front of it instead of behind it. So when you have people out here that are sharing, we share because we care. I come here each and every week and I pray I don't offend anybody, but I'm just being transparent so that people like us, not just us, but mainly people that look like us, will understand the value of crypto, because you're hearing it firsthand. I went from zero to hero. And honestly, Ricardo, that's how I decided that I remember listening to you, and I made a decision. I was like, oh, I want to know him. Oh, he speaks my language. Everybody doesn't speak our language. And I made a decision. I wanted to know you. I wanted to be able to talk to you. I wanted access to you. So I had to be open. And I decided to partner with you in a business opportunity that you were doing, because I believe in the blockchain. I 100% believe in the blockchain. And I felt like you were so passionate about it, and you gave so much more information, because a lot of times, again, we don't be open. We miss opportunities. And it's really sad. And that's why I'm so thankful and grateful, because when you come on the show like once a month and you share, people be talking to me about you, right? They be like, what day Ricardo gonna be on there? I'll be falling out laughing in the inside. Because they talk as if they know you, right? Because they listen to you. They started stalking you. They don't follow you, Ricardo. They started stalking you. And they're like, man, Ricardo be dropping some gems. Ricardo, I was like, take the time out to tell him. Because sometimes people don't know, and they're not always going to come to you and say like, yo, I appreciate that. But I did. And I remember talking to you, meeting you, and now we have evolved into, I think we have such a great friendship relationship. And again, for all my people over here threatening me with all of this, and I was like, I listened to you. Do I agree with 100%? No, but the majority wins. I think you are so knowledgeable. I think you are so passionate about everything you do. And when you believe in something, you are all gas, no brakes. So I pray that these people are listening, plugging in, following you, because again, we don't have a lot of people in this space that see the value of what we have. But when you have some people that love what they do, and I feel like you're a person that loves what you do, I pray they take advantage of it.
Well, yeah, I'm honored to be partner with you, Diana. I saw your passion, for the people and wanting to help people and get ahead as well. That connection, and like you said, not everybody speaks your language, and unfortunately, not everybody's going to make it, but for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, and who take action, they're going to do something like you said, where they're the matriarch or the patriarch of their family. That's why I tell people all the time, if you didn't come from a wealthy family, this is the opportunity to make sure that a wealthy family comes from you. We're living in one of the most significant time periods ever in history. There is no time period more significant than right now that you've read about in any text, that you've studied in any history books. The time that you are living in right now is what we talked about for decades, centuries, millennium. That's how important this time is right now in the world and in the global economy. And if you follow the right people, if you get the right information, if you acquire the right assets, you will do something that will literally change your bloodline for multiple generations to come. And I'm honored and I'm happy, to bring that value and to be alive in this time and to help share this information and be a positive force for change. And, I always love working with you as well. And we're just getting started. We're just getting started.
They have no idea. They have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, because I can see some of the comments and I can see some of the people that are commenting, they're new to the blockchain. Ricardo, do you mind just taking out a couple minutes and explaining what the blockchain is?
Yeah. So blockchain is just think about it like a ledger. Like right now, the banks, they have a ledger and everything's privatized. You can't see the books, you can't see what's going on. Blockchain is just a public ledger where it's very secure, super secure. It's decentralized. Nobody can control it. It's like, they say Internet 2.0. It's like, the better version of the Internet. It's the most redundant, resilient technology that we have that allows us to be able, it's, going to do so many things. It's going to revolutionize every industry, government, the monetary system. I mean, you name it. Every industry will be involved utilizing the blockchain because that's how, transformative and revolutionary and secure it is. That's the reason why governments around the world are going to be doing payments on the blockchain. That's why, assets are being tokenized. I mean, even right now, treasury bills, are on the blockchain. We're going to see the stock market, everything move on the blockchain because of its transparency, because of its encryption and security. Just the nature of it. It has, all benefits. So it's just the way that, it's the underlying infrastructure on how the global economy is going to function. Everything is going to be on the blockchain. And the sooner you get on the blockchain and you learn how to secure your assets, move your assets around, invest in different opportunities within the blockchain, the more freedom that you have, the more control over your life and money that you have. And then this is why this information is so important, because, it just comes down to you having options. That's what it's coming down to. You want to leave yourself with options. So no matter what happens in this economy, no matter who's elected, no matter what takes place, you have options, because you know how to move your money around, because you have the right assets, and that's what, we want for people. We want you to have some options, because this system will leave you with no options. So you can rely solely on the system. That's what feeds them. That's what gives them control. So we want you to be independent. We want you to be self-sufficient. You need to learn how to do that on the blockchain and secure your assets and properly move them around. But you have no choice. Either way, you're going to be dealing with the blockchain. The question is the blockchain going to be serving you, or are you going to be serving the blockchain?
You could have dropped the mic on that one.
Yeah.
I wasn't even ready for that one. That was good. I'm going to have to write that down. I can't believe it. Wait, I got a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
promise you I wasn't ready. Ricardo is hilarious to me. I love listening to you because all I can say is facts. That's what my kids be saying all the time. And I always use that word. I just feel like I want to say facts.
Right.
That was a good one. So I'm gonna have to use that one. So just to close out for my rookies as well. What is it? Over 27,000 cryptocurrencies out there. We're in an amazing season in crypto. So just share with them a little bit, Ricardo, about why they should be looking at the different tokens and where we are in the market right now and how that could potentially, change their lives. We got about 2 more minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So now you just want to diversify. Same thing with like, if you went to a financial services company and an advisor, and they would tell you get mutual funds, or they'll tell you get some stocks, blue chips or small cap, they'll tell you to, maybe have some CDs, or maybe they'll tell you get into bonds or different things, because you want to have a diversified portfolio. You want to hedge against unforeseen risks and circumstances in any given sector or market. And so it's the same thing with blockchain and crypto. You want to be in the different categories of the blockchain, whether it's gaming, metaverse, NFT, DeFi. You want to be into, different blockchains. Okay. Polkadot, or, like XRP, or, Ether, or whatever have you. You want to be just diversified. You don't want to be only in one cryptocurrency or in one project or in one category of the crypto space. You want to put yourself in position to diversify the same way you would with stocks or, any other, traditional financial instrument in the market.
All right, we got to wrap this up, but Ricardo, I hope I don't fall out laughing again. What's happening with them with the blockchain? What did you say? What did you say to them?
A lot of time this stuff is like a divine download, but essentially you're gonna be serving the blockchain, or the blockchain. You want the blockchain to serve you. You don't want to be serving the blockchain, okay?
That's it.
CBDCs and everything else.
The realest thing I ever heard. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Listen, I was gonna say, I so thank you. I so appreciate you. I have so much fun. This how I be all the time. Even when I'm home, I'm in my car, I'll be falling out laughing at Ricardo, because that's all you can say is facts. Like, that's the truth. That's what people don't understand. You can monetize it, or you can support it. So you have to figure that out and make your own decisions. I want to thank you guys for joining us here each and every Wednesday from 12 to 1 on Hits 92.3. Thank you, Mr. Ricardo. Make it make sense. I absolutely love sharing. We share because we care. We try to educate people and let them know that people, this whole, I'll say, space is what you make from it. Ricardo is definitely one of the people that I admire. He's one of my mentors. He's one of the people that I follow. I absolutely love doing business with, because he shares so much information. And I pray sometimes I'm actually going to go back and watch the show. I'm telling you, I'm cracked up over here today because I enjoyed this show. I feel like it's very, very educational. And then I always tell people, fact check us. Go look at the market. We shared with you XRP today, and one of the listeners, one of my business partner, Akil Muhammad, he said XRP is 59 cents. When we come back in 30 days, Ricardo, we got to remind each other, let's go look at the price of XRP. Let's watch that whole thing evolve. We're giving you free game. I pray you take advantage of it. Thank you guys for joining us here. I'll see you next week. Have a blessed day.
Hey, the secret's out. Hits 92.3 is now accepting submissions for brand new shows. That's right. You could become a radio personality right here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. You don't have experience? That's okay. You don't live in Georgia? That's okay. You don't know what to do now? Now that's not okay. But your girl is here to help you out. Email us today at hits923newshow@gmail.com and tell us about your potential show with Hits. Again, that email address is hits923newshow@gmail.com. Don't be last. The slots are filling fast.
Thanks for tuning in to Legacy Crypto Builders with Diana Townsend here on Hits Radio 92.3. Remember, every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're here exploring revolutionary blockchains that shape our future. Continue building your knowledge and join us next week for more insights into the world of purpose-driven blockchain technology. Until then, keep innovating and shaping the future.